William is one of the most adventurous writers that I know in my very long life, and there's nothing that he hasn't attempted and made a perfect success of.
I'd love you to imagine yourselves out on the steppe between Herat and Meshed, between the borders of Afghanistan and Persia, on a cold winter's night in 1837. You are in border country, what we in Scotland call debatable land, and a major war is about to break out between two powers who are disputing the same city, Herat. And the new Qajar Persian Shah of Iran, Muhammad II Qajar, has announced in his coronation speech that he's going to try and retake for Persia the disputed border city of Herat. This city is about to be attacked. And for the last 3 weeks, soldiers, artillery, cavalry have been passing up the military road from Tehran to Meshed. The military road is now at 2 a.m. completely empty. All activity has ceased. And then you can see coming towards you one single horseman coming up the road. And as you get closer, you can see that this is a young British Army officer, aged only 22. He's been on horseback for 3 days and a night without a break. And as he draws close to you on this bleak steppe, you can see this guy is about to fall off his horse. And in fact, this is what happens. 10 horsemen, last cavalry, make it up to the Nimla Gardens, one of the series of gardens that Shah Jahan built to shelter his party on the way to summer in Kabul in the 1640s. Still gorgeous and lovely. They arrive, there's gardeners there. The gardeners offer them naan and must, bread and yogurt. They haven't eaten for 5 days. They get off their horse, they accept the breakfast, and while they're eating it, the gardeners clobber them with their spades. But for some reason in imperial history, and even in nationalist history, even when you have subaltern studies or stuff, they tend to use the British forces, but against the grain, as they call it. So you're kind of, you're reading back against the source. But very few today bother to get out and this was the great thing with Last Mughal, that there were sitting in the National Archives 20,000 documents in Urdu, the entire archive of the rebel camp in 1857, which no one had read. There were a few Urdu scholars who'd used it in Urdu, and a few Hindi scholars had written about it in Hindi, but no one had written about this, the biggest source for 1857 from the Indian perspective, had written about it in English, and they were sitting there, and people were still saying there are no rebel sources in all the stuff. And there's a lot more out there, and I'm sure apparently your archives here in Goa are fantastic. And I have a cousin who did a biography of Albuquerque and Tali from stuff in Panjim. This stuff is here, and it's not being used anywhere.